Hi, folks. Welcome. We are GrownAGeeks. It's time for another review. Today, we're going to be reviewing Marvel's Thunderbolts. So make sure to like, subscribe, click that QR code, and join us as we talk about Marvel's Thunderbolts. And we're back. All right, so today we're going to be talking about Marvel's Thunderbolts, brand new movie that just came out. Been waiting on this one for a while. We're going to do a full review on the movie today. This is a spoiler review. I am Elder Geek Sam, and you can call me Yelena and her amazing friends. Joining me today, we have Dr. Feelgood, RG Cashmere. What's going on, man?
Another beautiful day in the neighborhood. You know how it is.
Wonderful, wonderful. All things Marvel joining us, the marvelous Miss Kennedy. Miss Teresa, how you doing today?
I'm hanging in there.
Good to hear, good to hear. And my man joining me, as always, Jeffrey JPNT 17. What's up, Jeff?
What's up? How's everybody doing?
Oh, we got more than a what's up on the intro. Oh, this is going to be a good show right here. All right. Now, Jeff seemed a little excited to talk about this one. He had some thoughts and was quick to say it. But we're going to let RG kick things off. RG, Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts.
What you think?
You know
What'd
something?
you think?
As a Phase 4 complete and utter hater of everything that came out of Phase 4, I gotta say that whatever this new phase is a step in the right direction. Okay, I did enjoy the Captain America movie. I did enjoy
Brave
that
New
movie.
World.
Brave New World. There we go. Man, that's a shame. That's how unremarkable it was a little bit. Nah, I'm stop. I did enjoy that
Don't do
movie.
that.
I did enjoy it. So I did enjoy it. But I gotta be honest, I really enjoyed this one even more. Polls aside, to really say like the parts about it that I didn't like were more like the fight choreography. There was a lot of like random bad guys kind of standing to the side like, attack now? Okay. You know, doing that type of thing.
Double Dutch fight. Is it my turn? Do I get in? Do I get it?
Yeah, there was a lot of that. And I was like, okay, well, I peeped that. What they did with Taskmaster, I was just like, all right, well, somebody's checked it and clear, so I got you. But after that, everything else got good. I was like, okay, this was a nice. I like the idea of having Yelena being the focal point of it. She's definitely, to be honest, she's more interesting as a character than Black Widow, because she just has more. She's a bit more emotion, right? She breaks down a little bit more. She misses her sister. She cries about things, and I like that. I actually like that. And I like her being sort of I'm not going to say the voice of reason, but just sort of the emotional hold of that group, of the group that they form in this movie. Her fight scenes were actually pretty good. They did a couple of long takes with her, and those were filmed really well, and I did enjoy those. But I really enjoyed the plot of the movie. I got to be honest. I think when you put a character in there that broke my biggest gripe with Disney and Marvel is having a terrible bad guy. And there is no real bad guy in this movie at all. This is more about, I feel like this is an origin story, right? Like this seems like a group origin story, but there is no real bad guy. And if you want to label Sentry as the, antagonist of the movie, there's really no way they could beat him, right? We all know there's nobody that they have on the roster that could have handled him. So, they were going to have to get together and, do a group hug. That's my, my little nickname, because this movie was a gigantic therapy session for Marvel characters. but it fit. The dialogue was well written. Every character was pretty natural. I still, John Walker is still not a favorite character, and I don't think that this movie made him someone that people will like. I don't think they made him likable, but I think they made him a bit more understandable in that, we're getting a glimpse inside his head. We're getting a glimpse into a little bit more of his backstory and why he's such an asshole. So these are things that they did right with this movie. And then I don't think the movie punched higher than it wanted to. It didn't punch higher than its weight, right? It stayed on the level of this is as strong as you guys are going to be. This is what you guys are, and you're not better than Captain America. You're not stronger than Captain America. We're going to Suicide Squad you guys out. But between Yelena and the Red Guardian character, those were really, really enjoyable characters to watch. I'm sure we can get on to, Ghost is expendable in the movie, but you got to have somebody with actual powers who just can't, fight good and be strong. But, excuse me. But overall, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of gave this movie an 8 out of 10. I sat in that theater and I fucking enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed the movie. Like I was like, this is
wow.
Y'all keeping my interest. And I'm not finding a whole lot to actually hate on because the movie doesn't do things that make me say, nobody does that. Who does that? Come on, why are you acting that way? Oh, we know you can't do that. So it's kind of cool. We get our member berries, in there with, Avengers Tower and a lot of callbacks. And I'm sure we'll go into depth a little bit more about the things I hate, but things we hate. And
okay, well, we'll see if there's some things I might be able to find a few things. So we'll see how that goes. Well, let's just move it on around. Teresa, Thunderbolts. What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I think I watch Marvel movies differently than other people, other like Marvel fans. Because I'm not, especially the first time I watch it, I'm not looking at fight choreography, and I'm not looking at, the like technical geek stuff.
Right.
Of the movies. First and foremost for me is enjoyability, of course, entertainment. And I
Fun
did
factor.
enjoy the movie. But I'm hearing things like, Marvel's back. This is the best Marvel movie since Endgame or whatever. And I didn't get that. I didn't get that. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I love the Red Guardian. I adore David Harbour as Red Guardian. He was just so entertaining, and so, he kind of kept, even though the movie is kind of dark and, it's kind of exploring the characters' darkness. They're like RG said, it's kind of a Marvel group therapy session, but still, pretty much whenever Red
Right.
Guardian's on the screen, he is lifting the mood of the movie. And so I enjoyed that. I always love a good Bucky entrance, and he had a great one on his motorcycle with the hair blowing in the breeze. I did enjoy it. Best thing since Endgame? No, I don't agree. I'm gonna give it a 7.9.
really, with 99 cents in, you're 99 cents in it?
Mm-hmm.
You said I'm on change back?
Yep.
You're getting that 8. I need that for the jar. Do that penny for Fantastic Four.
Okay. All right, 7.9. I hear that, and I don't disagree very much. I think I'm right around where you are. Jeff,
Yeah.
would you like to go next, or you gotta
Nah.
unfold some things?
No, not really. I think it's interesting. There's two things I take away from the movie. One, no, not one. Before I even get into that, I like this movie a lot. I enjoyed myself, and I think there were interesting things in the movie that made me kind of look at Marvel and kind of understand like what they're doing. And I think like for me, and I think for a lot of Marvel fans, like feeling like you understand what Marvel's trying to do is how you get like some grace, and for people to like maybe overlook a plot hole or something like that. I
Mm-hmm.
think the first thing, like what RG said, yes, therapy session. You know, I grew up in the 90s. I'm a firm I don't want to say victim, but I was a target of all of the 90s hood propaganda movies about staying in school and wearing a condom and all those things. And I think this is the first time I've seen a movie like that for incels. Like I think all the other
Mm.
stuff that I've kind of seen that points out those types of tendencies are more like casting them as like an unredeemable villain, or it's like satirizing them or poking fun at them. But I think that Marvel looked at its audience and was like, a lot of y'all are like angry and sad and lashing out at art instead of like looking at yourself and looking at to a community around you. Like, get off the computer, bro. Like, go hug somebody, go do some stuff with a group of friends. And I think each person was going through their like own version of that. And Century was like, you know, super incel to a degree, right? Like travel bro. He's over in whatever country just trying to get some drugs and bang chicks and signs up for a random like experiment. You know what I mean? And he end up locked in a box because you won't just like call a friend and be like, yo, man, can we go grab a beer so we can talk about some things? Or you don't want to just like go talk to like a therapist. Or you don't want to like share or make yourself vulnerable with any woman because you don't know what she's bringing to the table. Like all this stupid stuff that these like people who are dominating the conversation in our like sector, it's like, bro, you got to move past this. This is fun. This is movies. Like, if you come out of this, you can come and be in a whole world with us where we are to be superheroes and have fun and fight bad guys. But if you're going to stay inside your little pity party inside your mind, you're going to ruin it for everybody. We're not going to get no comic book movies. And I just felt like
Okay.
Marvel kind of taking that approach of, I think, in some ways, like tackling the issues of their audience head on versus like weaving and diverting their plans to try to appease them was fascinating for me to watch as it happened in the theater. Because I really was like, are they really about to like hug this nigga back to being himself? And they did. And I was like, but it made sense. It's not like to me, this made more sense than the end of like Guardians of the Galaxy 1, where they all join hands. And it's
Right.
like Peter's the only one who really can take all this power if we keeping it a buck. Like
Right.
y'all just join the hands for symbolism, because if he can't take it, y'all are toast. But this one was more like, I get why it had to be like the way that it was. So that was the first thing that I noticed. And then the second thing I noticed was, I always think about our episode of therapy that we did on Marvel. And one of my complaints was that they had been trying so hard to like focus on the villain, the big overarching bad, like who's going to be the next Thanos was like seemed to be their biggest mission. And my question was like, who's going to be the next Avengers? Like, I don't know if I like any or all of these characters that y'all are like kind of setting up to be the next ones, and y'all are just doing these shows and putting out all this stuff. Like, we're supposed to just accept these people when Scarlett Johansson had to be in Iron Man, Captain America, Avengers 1, 2, and 3 before she got her own solo stuff. All the other ones had to get like 1, 2, 3 movies before we even saw them interact with each other, let alone Thanos. So showing Kang over and over and over and over and over again versus like giving us more things where we can spend more time with Sam, spend more time with Bucky, spend more time with Miss Marvel, like all these people who you're trying to get us to like. And I think here we're really focused on you, not necessarily like falling in love with every single person on this team, but we're focused on you liking this team dynamic. And there might be one or two people that you identify with or that you like, but like the team dynamic works. And I think that's what they got right with Avengers. And I think that's what they got right here. And that's why I feel like this movie was really successful. And I think this, along with the Captain America aspect, where I feel like they did that again. It wasn't this like otherworldly, cosmic, like entity, whatever, where that doesn't make sense for you because you're just a dude on the street. Like, you're a political guy, so you had a political problem. These guys are mercenaries, so they had like an underworld crime problem. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what they're doing makes sense. And they're doing us the service of like not explaining through like exposition, but like actually walking us through like, this is why this is happening. This is what the world is like now, you know, and even reminding us like them old dudes not coming back. So y'all got to take what we giving y'all right now.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed those aspects of it a lot, along with, you know, the plot making sense and being, I like the action. I didn't have any issues with the choreography, but I wasn't expecting like a John Woo film. So
Okay.
Yep.
Would be nice.
Okay. Definitely good points. And did it feel kind of like a fourth wall break for you to see actual therapy taking place for the viewers of the show? Is that how you were seeing
I was
that?
kind of just, I was watching it and I'm kind of just like, this is not even heavy handed, but I'm like, this is targeted. But I'm also like, it's not targeted at me. So then I'm thinking about who are the targets. And I'm like, oh, like, yeah, this is targeted to like those people. And yes, they need to see this movie and like talk with someone about it. You know, take your adolescent incel child to see Thunderbolt so we can break these bad habits early.
Get them young. Get them young. Okay. Well, give it a score. Where would you rank it?
I give it an 8. Florence Pugh's performance takes it to an 8 for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Well, RG, have a seat because I'm your resident hater today.
All right. Let's go.
Yeah.
You gotta have one. Give me one.
So, Thunderbolts was a movie that I watched. No, I will say overall, I did enjoy the film. Every time somebody's asked about it and I've had an opportunity to talk about it, I've always let people know I give it a C+, but I give it the best C+ I can give it. It's the most positive C+ that's out there. I don't want you to think that me giving it a C+ means it's a bad movie. It's not a great Marvel movie. And this is not even like comparing it to Endgame because we've had other movies that have come out and some of them have been complete duds. Some of them have actually been better than they got credit for. And this is one of those movies. It got so many things right that I think it kind of glossed over everything to make us think the movie's better than it is. Florence Pugh, Yelena Belova could just give me everything with her in it, and I'm probably gonna love it because her as that character fits. Her over-the-top accent, her super heavy, thick accent, it sounds correct for some reason. You know what I'm saying? And David Harbour as Red Guardian, that man is hilarious. His episode of what was the thing with the Watcher? What If? His episode of What If with Red Guardian and Bucky, that was the best episode of that third season. I don't know what the hell the rest of that season was, but that episode was fantastic. And I got elements of that in this movie. So of course that was a positive. Yes, Ghost. I wanted to see what her trauma was. I want, like we got to see what was going on inside John Walker's mind. We got to see what was going on in Yelena's mind. You know what I'm saying? We've had plenty of time to explore the trauma Bucky's been through, so we didn't have to get that. But here it is. If you're going to keep Ghost around, then I needed to see her. Like, she needed her 5 minutes of bumping into him and see what has her triggered and whatnot. Because otherwise, it just seems like she's just there. And you've got such a fantastic actor playing Ghost, and she's completely underutilized as a whole. She shows up and does her ghosting powers when it's time. Yelena makes a comment, so we all just punch and shoot? Yes, you all just punch and shoot. To go up against a villain like Sentry, at first glance, you're like, wait, what? They're not. Then, of course, as the movie unfolds, you get to see, and it's like, oh no, these are the only people that could have this conversation with Bob, because they're the only people who have been through anything close to what Bob's been through. So, okay, big points for that, because we turned it around, and getting to do the whole Inside Out, that was a lot of fun. That was really cool to see like a live action version of that. Obviously, Red Guardian is joy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I mean, the breakdown is there, and you can kind of pick out every character. Ghost would probably be discussed. John Walker's, I don't know, like he's somewhere between anger and fear, because I feel like Bucky probably fits his anger, but it's like an Inside Out version for Marvel, and it's pretty cool, and they're all inside Bob's head. So, they got to make sure he's happy, because if he ain't happy, nobody's happy. I will say I was not expecting the movie to end with the power of friendship. But, hey, power of friendship. I mean, the power of friendship is powerful as hell, because it saves the day in a ton of anime, a ton of cartoons, and now it's getting into movies. At the same time, I don't want to say anything, negative about any of the mental health aspects, because all of the characters do actually exhibit like some serious trauma, some real PTSD, and they all legitimately have issues. And I do think Marvel did a very good job of respecting the type of issues they have and where that can lead, and how easily that can lead people to some dark places. So kudos to Marvel for handling that. I would give the movie 7.5. It's not bad. I do want to keep it on the upper end of the scale. I don't want anyone to think that it's a bad movie. I did enjoy myself, but if it had not been a team up Avengers movie, this would have just been another film with MCU logo at the front. And
I think that's interesting, because even though, I mean, super spoiler alert, they are the quote unquote new Avengers.
New Avengers.
To me, I feel like this movie out Suicide Squad is Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah.
And I think I never, even at the end, I'm not thinking about them as like Marvel's Avengers. I'm thinking about them as like, this is the replacement for Guardians / this is their Suicide Squad. They got Julia Louis-Dreyfus as their Amanda Waller. I mean, we got Yelena as our Harley Quinn. We got so the Inside Out parallel was interesting, because I was more making like the Suicide Squad parallels, and it's kind of like DC Creature Commandos ain't gonna hold us over for much longer.
Nah.
Y'all better come with it.
Because let me tell you something. It's not like I'm even rewatching.
Like they're getting back on track.
I will agree with that. I mean, it's very fitting, and we can shift over to other highlights and good points, and then if you want, we can go right into some of the negative. Marvel does team up surprisingly well, and all the original movies that we watched, the first Iron Man, the first Captain America, the first Thor, we knew all of that was building up towards the Avengers. And the first time we saw the Avengers and we got to see all these different characters from all these different movies together in one place, that was really cool. And what I'm saying, you talk about an ensemble cast, and there's been movies that have been successfully done with ensemble casts, but not one quite this way, where the world was so clearly built up first. Since each of these characters is coming from an established part of that world, we already feel like old friends with all of these characters. Like, what I'm saying? And I do think Taskmaster got done a little dirty, but they had already there's a feeling that the character had already been bastardized enough that they couldn't try to retroactively retcon the character to now make it where she's doing the Taskmaster stuff, or the things that Taskmaster does from the comics. Even if they had just gone with letting her be who she was. But I guess at the same time, somebody got to die.
I think
and how do you utilize her? Like, how do you utilize her skill set within this group. There's
Right.
she doesn't add value in this group.
this
She's just
particular,
another person that, oh, I saw you do that, and now I can do it. But
oh yeah, I mean,
we're
for
all
this
fighting
particular
here.
mission, I don't think she would have contributed much. She would have been mimicking the movesets of other people doing what they did to maybe get out of a situation.
Right.
But she wouldn't have been able to have a conversation with Bob, you know.
Right.
And if he bumped into her, like, we saw that whole movie, we don't need to know her thing, you know, like we know exactly what her trauma is. So her being taken out is, you know,
I also
it
think
happened.
it allows somebody them to recast and like have somebody else that's closer to what the comic book character is pick up that Taskmaster mantle.
True.
Potential, yeah, that is now available again. So yeah, that's one way to look at it.
They ain't just shoot her; they put her in the incinerator.
Yeah, like
Taskmaster will not return.
Right. All right. Well, folks, we hope that you've enjoyed this review. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us everywhere you find GrownAGeeks. If you like the videos that we put out, man, like give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share the information. It really helps the channel out a lot, and we greatly appreciate it. For RG, Teresa, Jeffrey, I'm Elder Geek Sam, and we are out of here.